I'm not staying. First thing after the funeral tomorrow, pack our bags, go back to London. I mean it, Dad.
Nick, we have to stay for at least a few days. Your mum's gonna need you.
First thing Monday morning, then. Agreed?
It'll be okay, really.
You don't know my mother.
And I don't want waiters with tattoos, and definitely no body piercings, unless the wearer happens to be female and the area pierced is an ear. Thank you.
Don't worry, Aunt Georgina. Everything's under control. Deb has everything in hand.
Yes, well, I'm quite sure that where Deborah comes from, fish paste sandwiches might be a great delicacy. This is my husband's funeral we're talking about. Oh. Here. I should never have let them talk me into taking this trip. Australia. Goodness only knows what I was thinking about.
At least Nick will be staying for a bit longer.
Nick will be staying, full stop. It's out of the question him leaving now. He has obligations.
Well, what about Deb?
What about her?
Well, she is his wife. She might not want to stay.
What she may or may not want, Jeff, is of little or no significance. It's my son that I'm concerned with. Isn't this just the worst thing in the world?
Yeah. Who thought it was going to go on forever?
Where's Eddie?
I haven't seen him since last night.
Georgina, I'm so sorry. I'll go for surgery. You stay with your mum.
Find Eddie for me. I want him here as soon as possible.
Anna's not your real name, is it? If I had to guess, I'd have you down as more of a Rebecca or a Felicity. Or maybe even a Philippa. Philippas are authoritative. Did you know that? I read it in a magazine. Unlike Eddie, Eddie's just a diminutive, a miniature.
Maybe we should go over the rules again. Rule number 1, we keep it simple. No addresses, no phone numbers, no personal details. That way no one gets hurt.
Are you married?
Rule number 2, we never ask personal questions.
I want to know.
Rule number 3, we absolutely obey the rules, especially rule number 2.
Have any idea how ridiculous this is?
It's what we agreed, Eddie. If you don't like it, walk away. I'm free tomorrow.
Yeah. Tomorrow's fine.
Okay, one more test. How many fingers am I holding up?
3.
And now?
1.
Now?
All of them.
Your vision's still excellent, Mrs. Lawrence.
Oh, please, call me Sam.
You'll be pleased to know, Sam, there's no sign of deterioration at all. How are things generally?
Oh, pretty good. My husband's great. I have 2 brilliant kids. I'm just not particularly happy around mirrors these days.
Why don't you lie down, Mum?
I lie down when I feel tired. I should never have gone. Not with your father still recuperating.
We all agreed. Even Dad wanted you to go.
You know the worst thing? She may be my sister, but I realized when I was out there, don't even like her that much.
Mum?
Eddie! Where have you been?
I had to see someone.
So, do you think you'll stay now?
I'd like to. I love it here, but it's really up to my husband. In the meantime, I'm always happy to see you, even if you just want to talk.
Thanks. We did think about surgery. We saw an ophthalmic specialist.
And what did he say?
Well, he suggested, as it isn't life-threatening, we should just leave things as they are. But Matthew, my husband, wonders about getting a second opinion.
I think you should discuss it properly before making any decisions. If you'd like me to sit down with you and your husband...
Well, I'll speak to Matthew first and see what he thinks.
Run it past yourself, too. After all, it's your body.
Service is a word we don't hear too often these days. I can't believe you wrote this on the plane.
Is it too tacky?
Mum, I can't read this.
Darling.
Get Nick to do it. I'm sure he'd be happy to do
I
it.
don't want Nick to do it. I want you to do it.
Sorry.
Muriel mentioned something about an act. Russell Skunk, adult entertainer. 379 different jokes about a skunk. Really?
I'm in the record books.
Wow.
Well, not really. I used to be a Russell Skunk children's entertainer. Then a printer decided I had 379 different jokes about spunk. I mean, bookings dried up overnight.
Wow.
Exactly. I did become quite popular on the stag circuit.
There you go. Thank you. You've gained 22 pounds in 4 months, Russell.
Is that bad?
It isn't wonderful. I'd like to have some blood tests done. I have a feeling it could be your thyroid.
Dr. Jeff usually just writes out a prescription, leaves it at reception. You know, for water pills.
I'll be happy to see about the diuretics when I have the results of your blood tests. Why don't you tell me one of your skunk jokes?
Dr. Sweet.
Morning, Miriam.
Your wife said you wouldn't be coming in today.
I'm not. I just came to see if there's any post for me, that's all.
Oh, yes.
Thank you. Thanks for picking up Mum this morning, Jeff.
That's right, I'm just happy to do what I can, you know that.
I really appreciate what you've done with the surgery. I mean, it can't have been easy. Dad had his way of doing things.
Your dad was a great man, Nick. I owe him everything. Good news? Congratulations. Does Deb know?
I thought you'd be happy. When I applied, you seemed excited.
I just wasn't expecting it right now, that's all.
We said we'd come up here for a few weeks to help out while Mum was away. You know, you took leave. I'm technically between jobs. We can't just stay here forever.
You can't just walk away either. What about the surgery?
Jeff will bring in new people.
And your mum?
She's got Eddie. I know you like it here. But that was before. You have no idea what it will be like now she's back.
Nick, your mum wants you. Oh, darling. I want to ask a favour. I'd like you to read the eulogy at your father's funeral tomorrow.
What about Eddie?
Well, between you and me, I don't think Eddie's quite up to it. I mean, I'd do it myself, but...
Of course, Mum. It'd be an honour. Thank you.
I was going to find you. See if you wanted anything for lunch.
We're going to take Mum over to see Dad.
Get my jacket.
I'd prefer it if just Nick and Eddie came with me, Deborah. I'm sure you understand.
Of course. If there's anything I can do.
You've done more than enough already. I think I'd like a moment alone, please.
Congratulations, Dad, you remembered.
Service is a word we don't hear too often these days. Service in the church, service in the community. For whatever reason, it no longer seems popular to put the well-being of others before the well-being of oneself. You let my father into your lives because you trusted him. You trusted his knowledge, his good judgment, and you trusted his honesty. You trusted him with your lives and the lives of your loved ones. And I can think of no greater compliment to pay than that.
Dead. Long live the king.
Give him a break, Eddie.
Yeah, well, I just wish I'd had that Dr. Ed as a father instead of the cold bastard I got. See you later, mate.
What's going on?
Given the circumstances, what's going down might be a more appropriate question.
This is a funeral.
I'd introduce you to the family, but as you can see, it's not exactly the right moment. My father, he had a heart attack.
Shit, Eddie. Why didn't you tell me?
And no personal questions, remember?
I don't believe this.
I wanted to see you. Where's your car?
sorry about your father.
Lillian. I wasn't expecting to see you here.
No. Georgina called me. I just think I'd get married in this church one day.
Perhaps you still will.
I doubt it. Things change. We have to learn to adapt to new situations.
Impressive turnout.
Yes, the little people, as you like to call them, held your brother in quite high regard.
He was a good man.
Oh, he was much more than that. May not have conquered the world, like some, but he conquered the hearts of these people. Just as important.
You collect and salvage this stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Then sell it on for a great fortune?
Oh, when I can.
Are you rich?
Unfortunately, it turns out I'm better at collecting than I am at selling.
Are you sure this is appropriate?
Oh, believe me, it's very appropriate.
Andrew Sweet, Ed's brother. We met briefly at your wedding last year.
You had a plane to catch.
Story of my life, I'm afraid.
Are you rushing off somewhere now?
That's a bit in the mix, as they say. Yeah?
That was so suddenly. It was good that Deb was here. Deb. We were just talking about you. This is Lillian.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Lillian and I used to go to school together.
This man gave me my first bruise.
Really?
We were only 9 years old.
I was Mary, he was Joseph. Unfortunately, I only had eyes for one of the shepherds. This brute got jealous.
Like I said, it was a long time ago.
A long time. Seems like only yesterday.
All doctors' houses should overlook cemeteries, don't you think? Remind us of our ultimate failure.
What happened between you and Uncle Ed, Dad?
I'm not sure I know what you're talking about.
Come on. You turn up late for the funeral. Nice big fat cigar at the wake. That might pass for grief in Southern California, but over here it looks a bit like indifference.
There's no law that says that brothers have to like each other, Jeff. Ed had his way, I had mine. That's all.
She was fun.
Hmm?
Your Virgin Mary.
Oh. Lillian. Yeah.
So how serious was it between you two?
I told you before. We're just good friends.
You also told me she was just a local girl.
She is.
It's not just a local girl. That's Miss Scandinavia. Is there something we need to talk about?
Trust me, Dad. It was just one of those things. Over before it began.
What's going on, Eddie? It's your dad's funeral. What are we doing here?
I wanted to see you. I told you.
Was he really that bad?
Well, you know the story of the prodigal son?
Yeah.
Well, it was like that, but without the forgiving bit. I was a disappointment to him.
Can I do anything?
I think everything's just about taken care of. I saw you talking to Lillian. Everything okay?
Shouldn't it be?
Not every woman feels comfortable talking to her husband's ex-fiancé.
I'd forgotten they were engaged.
Yes, but only briefly, thank goodness. She wasn't right for him at all. I expect Nick told you all about it. It's really good you can talk to each other. Once couples start to keep secrets, you don't know where you are.
Hey.
You disappeared.
It's what I do, didn't they tell you?
If you hate it up here so much, why don't you just leave?
Or maybe I missed the view.
It is beautiful, isn't it?
It's why you want to stay.
The view, the clean air, the fascinating people. Who was she?
Don't miss a trick, do you?
That's what I do, didn't they tell you?
She's nice, isn't she? Nick's wife.
Yes, she is. She's very laid back. Leaves him very much to his own devices. Giving him space, I think they call it. I'm not altogether sure that's a good idea. There's a thin line between giving your loved one his freedom and letting him think you don't really care.
I was hoping he might stay this time.
Oh, I think he will.
I thought he had a job in London.
Well, it's one of the options we're considering, but when all's said and done, I think he'll choose to stay here. Fill his father's shoes. After all, why wouldn't he? Everything he could possibly want is here.
The MRI scan shows that it's a hemangioma, a collection of blood vessels around the orbital nerve, which swell and push forward to create a condition known as unilateral proptosis.
We know all this. Now, Dr. Ed mentioned surgery.
I think I'd be inclined to leave well alone. The removal of this type of tumour is a particularly difficult operation. It's also quite dangerous. There's the risk that you could end up losing not just your sight, but the entire eye.
Exactly what sort of risk are we looking at here, percentage-wise?
I never talk in percentages, Mr. Lawrence. No unnecessary Latin and no percentages.
I don't think you quite understand, Doctor. This is affecting our whole lives. Tell us, Sam.
Well, it's not easy. You know, sometimes I do feel a bit self-conscious.
Not just sometimes. People stare at her. In restaurants, they give us the table in the corner. We worry about the kids as they grow older. What are their mates going to say? This has been very stressful for both of us.
I do understand. I'm just pointing out the risks. Surgery now could make matters worse. How will your children feel if their mother loses her sight?
But at the end of the day, isn't that our decision?
Of course. But I do have to give you my opinion.
It's appreciated, Doctor. But this is something we both want, isn't it, Sam?
Nick! Hello.
I'm in a real rush, Lillian.
I thought we could go for a drink sometime. You know, catch up on things.
I'd love to. But you know, Deb and I, we're not here next week.
I thought you decided to stay.
No, we're going back to London on Monday.
In that case, we should all meet up for a drink before then.
Well, it's really awkward right now. Maybe next time we're up. I have to go.
Okay.
Did I spot Russell Webbing again this morning?
Yeah, he wanted his water tablets. Says he needs them.
And?
I told him he'd have to wait until after the results of the blood tests.
Good.
Told me a joke about a skunk.
Skunk goes into a bar?
No. 2 skunks wake up in a brothel.
I don't want to know.
She asked us round for a drink, but I said no, and that was it. Deb, it's so completely over.
Did I suggest it wasn't? Anyway, Russell Webb.
Skunk man.
Jeff's been prescribing diuretics for almost a year now. I don't think his problem's water retention. In fact, I've ordered some blood tests.
Okay.
Well, no, it's not okay. Russell shouldn't be coming in here getting diuretics every month if that's not his problem.
I meant okay. I'll talk to Jeff.
Thank you. I'd do it myself, but he's your cousin. I don't want to tread on any toes.
Deb. What I just said about Lillian, it's the truth.
Hello.
Maman?
When did you arrive?
Just now.
You coming over to supper tonight? I understand Deborah's doing the cooking. Something wonderfully wholesome, I should imagine.
I can't. I'm seeing someone.
Oh, who?
What was Lillian doing here?
Lillian?
No, I passed her just now on my way in.
Oh, coming to see Nick, I expect. I think he still carries a little torch for her.
Nick?
Yeah, whatever you do, don't say anything to Deborah. We wouldn't want a situation on our hands.
Especially she's the one who wants to stay.
Who, Deborah?
Nick's the one who's desperate to get back to London. Ironic, isn't it?
Yeah, very.
Perfect. Have you got a moment?
Yeah. What's up?
Russell Webb.
What about him?
He's been collecting diuretics from this surgery for over a year now. Do you not think that we should consult with patients before we prescribe?
What are you suggesting?
I'm not suggesting anything. I'm simply saying, let's make sure we put the legwork in first.
Of course.
I'm not trying to give you a hard time.
No.
It's just a friendly word, that's all.
I understand.
Why didn't you just tell him?
Doesn't matter.
Jeff, it does matter. You should have told him. If you don't, I will. Just clearing out some of your father's things.
Lillian dropped by today.
Yeah, nice to see her, wasn't it? Pretty girl. Not a patch on Deborah, of course.
Why did you do it?
What?
Why did you invite her to the funeral?
Lillian is an old friend of the family. I asked her because I knew she'd want to be there.
Bullshit. You saw an opportunity to stir things up and you took it.
Look, Nick, if you're feeling guilty because you've got some kind of unfinished business with this girl, it's nothing to...
Please.
You may not have noticed this, but my entire world has just been turned upside down.
No, this has nothing to do with that. You've no right to meddle in my affairs.
I'm sorry. I can't be dealing with these childish accusations. If you really imagine that I've got the inclination, desire, or sheer bloody energy to start playing silly buggers, then your opinion of me is a damn sight lower than I suspected it was.
That was our wedding day 9 years ago. I was beautiful then.
Sam, don't put your sight at risk just to please someone else. You have to understand that there's a very good chance you could go blind.
I do understand. But what's the alternative? To stay like this for the rest of my life? I mean, what about the children when they want to bring friends home? What are they expected to say? You know, so far I've had to be strong for everyone, but there's going to come a time when that's just not going to be enough.
If I thought that your life was at risk...
But it is. My life with Matthew's at risk. It's making him unhappy. And if he's unhappy, I'm unhappy too. No, I want to be able to go somewhere with him and know that he feels proud, not awkward or, you know, embarrassed.
There's no need for anyone to feel embarrassed.
That's easy for you to say. Look, I am scared. But I'm scared of doing nothing too. Let me ask you something. If you were in my position and your husband wanted you to have this operation, would you do it?
You have to decide what's really important. You've got to look at what you have to lose as well as what you have to gain.
You haven't answered my question.
I'm sorry about Andrew pitching up like this. Don't know what's got into him. Seems to have rather attached himself since Ed's funeral.
It's fine. The more the merrier.
He must be very excited about Nick's new job.
Yeah, it's good news.
London's wonderful, isn't it? I know people say it can be difficult with small children. That traffic and noise. But there's so much for them to do. All those play groups and creches. Up here, they just run completely wild.
I know, I've seen them.
Not that you've got to worry about any of that just yet. It'll take Nick quite a while to establish himself, of course. And who knows? By then, you might both have decided you're happy the way things are.
This is really good, Deb.
Yeah, it's terrific.
So filling.
I hear you're off to a pill shop on Harley Street, Nick.
That's right.
Good patience, rich folk. Just threaten them with a jab in the arse and they'll meet any price.
Sounds wonderful.
It's a great opportunity.
You bet it is. Parties, presents, I get the lot. All grateful for the latest nip and tuck. It's the kind of patience you want.
Dad takes the grab it while you can approach to medicine.
Absolutely. Fill your bag with swag. If you don't, the next man will.
Bitch!
Did I do well?
Darling, you were magnificent.
Well, the same is right. It is an opportunity.
Life is full of opportunities. Knowing which one to take, that's what really matters.
Couldn't agree more.
Thanks for being there for me tonight.
Always. You know that.
Good night.
Nick, I know this is going to really piss you off, so I'm just going to say it.
You want to stay?
I really, really want to stay.
She got to you, didn't she?
This has nothing to do with your mother.
I mean, 3 days. She's better than I thought.
This is about you and me. About what we want to do with our lives.
Yeah, well, you just wait till she gets started. I give her a month. 6 weeks at most.
Your mother isn't the problem, Nick. It's you.
In London, we have a life.
No, in London, you have a life. I have a very long journey to work. And when I get there, I'm surrounded by people who think I'm not properly qualified because I didn't happen to play prop for the Harlequins.
Is it my fault that you want to save the world?
Not save it, just occasionally feel I've made a little bit of difference, that's all. I like it here. People smile, they talk to you. In London, I don't even know who our next door neighbour is.
And that's a bad thing because...
Because it is. I want our children to grow up as part of a community.
Children?
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I use that word? I was just sort of hoping, you know, perhaps maybe one day. But of course, you know, if that doesn't fit in with the pill shop on Harley Street thing. Or is there some other reason you don't want to stay? When were you going to tell me about Lillian? Specifically the part about the two of you being engaged?
I'd hardly call it engaged.
Was there a ring? I'm sort of looking for a yes or no on this one, Nick.
Yeah, but it wasn't an engagement ring. It was just a ring. I gave it to her for her birthday, and she decided to tell everyone it was for something else.
And you didn't stop her? So were we just settling for an easy life, or was there no other way you could think of to get her clothes off?
Bit of both.
And to think I settled for 3 pints of lager.
She was just the girl that everyone wanted to go out with. I don't know, I guess I couldn't believe my luck, that's all.
So you're a heartless bastard as well as a liar.
I'm told that's what makes me so attractive to women.
Certainly isn't your sense of humour.
You see, that's why we have to go to London. If we stay here, we will go mad. Is Jeff in?
He's with a patient.
Can you find Russell Webb straight away and get him in here, please?
Why, is there a problem?
The diuretics we've been prescribing are killing him. He's on the verge of renal failure. Make sure Jeff sees me as soon as possible.
You have absolutely no right to speak to her like that behind my back.
Please, Mr. Lawrence, sit down.
You've put us right back where we started. I mean, it's been tough enough just to get Sam to even talk about it.
This isn't a straightforward situation. I felt it only fair to explain that to her.
What do you care? You're not even going to be here.
I still have to do what I think is right as a doctor.
So, I have no say in this.
As Sam's husband, surely it's your job to support her, whatever decision she makes.
What do you think I've been doing for the last 2 years? You have no idea what it's been like for either of us.
I can understand.
No, you can't. That's the whole problem. You know, we came to you because we thought you might be able to give us a bit of hope. See, now we were wrong.
Matthew Lawrence is a very good friend. I was the one who suggested they came to talk to you in the first place. If I'd known you were going to say what you did...
Yes, but I'm a doctor, and it's my job to give a medical opinion.
Well, I understand that. But as far as Ed was concerned, this operation was the best way forward.
That was his opinion. I have mine. We happen to disagree.
Yes, well... Why don't you stop to consider the circumstances before disagreeing quite so vociferously?
You want me to just rubber stamp Ed's decision?
Deborah,
Deb. Okay? Everyone calls me Deb.
I'm not everyone, dear. Deb, I don't think you quite understand.
No, Georgina, I don't think you understand. Sam Lawrence was doing this for her husband, not herself.
Well, what's so wrong with that? Shouldn't a wife try to please her husband? Or is that something else you don't believe in?
I'm a doctor. I believe in doing what's best for my patient. I'm sorry, but I absolutely refuse to discuss this any further with you.
How do you feel? Bloated. Well, just keep drinking. We'd normally wean you off the pills, but what with the possible damage to your kidneys? Probably find a place for this in your act, eh, Russell?
What, skunk goes to his doctors and almost gets poisoned? It's not very funny, is it? I think skunk goes to his local papers is much better. Or skunk sues medical practice for gross negligence.
How about skunk just shuts up and keeps drinking?
She's doing this for you. You know that, don't you?
Sam used to be a beautiful woman.
She's still the same person. She hasn't changed.
Look, don't preach the inner beauty sermon to me. I know how it works. Appearance is everything. If something doesn't look right, people avoid it. I don't want that for Sam.
And what about the risk?
Do you think I haven't considered that? I care about my wife more than you or anyone else will ever know. I just want the chance to be able to love her again the way I did before.
Even if this operation's successful, there will be disfigurement. Sam will never be exactly as she was before.
Anything's better than what I've got now.
I'll arrange for you to see an ophthalmic surgeon at Queen Mary's. He'll advise you how best to proceed. Sorry.
Deb. I spoke out of turn earlier. I'm not myself at the moment. You'll have to forgive me.
I understand. I want you to understand something about me, too. What you see is what you get. I speak my mind, and I make no apologies for that.
Something tells me we're going to get along splendidly.
Yeah?
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize you were busy.
I'm just writing a report on Russell Webb, in case we get a complaint.
Shouldn't Jeff be doing that?
Jeff has been prescribing water pills for hyperthyroidism for over a year now. The man's lucky to be alive. I'm just trying to save his ass, that's all.
It wasn't Jeff. It was your father who diagnosed Russell Webb with water retention over a year ago. And he made it quite clear that Russell was to remain on water tablets indefinitely. Well, it's not fair that Jeff should take the blame.
What is it?
I used to think my dad was the best doctor in the world. Today, one of his misdiagnoses almost killed a patient.
You're not your father, Nick.
You know, the London job's a big opportunity. And if I turn it down, they won't offer it to me again.
This is the opportunity you'll never have again. Here, we can work together. We can be a part of something, part of a real community.
That's easy for you to say. You chose to become a doctor. That choice was made for me. What if I don't have what it takes?
You are a better doctor than your father ever was. Don't turn your back on this just because you're worried about ruining his reputation. It's up to you. Whatever you decide, I'm with you.
Weird, isn't it? We spent our whole lives trying to get away from the bastard, and now look at us.
Do you think I should stay here?
You're asking my advice.
First time for everything? Mum and Deb's under one roof could be tricky.
Well, it's only till I get something sorted.
Seems to me like you've already made up your mind anyway. Whatever you do, don't let him stand on your shoulders. Do it your way. See you later.
We're staying.
We're really happy here. I'd hate for anything to spoil it now.
Does it hurt when I do this?
Your hands are very warm.
Oi!
If your father was alive, he'd understand.
I'm not my father!
Well, at least that's something we can both agree on.
Felicity Kendall and Pam Ferris are mixing it up in our new drama Rosemary and Thyme tomorrow night at 9 o'clock. Next tonight, it's news at 10.